बनता रहेगा.
Hello and welcome to Cricket Adda Presents Cricket Addicts episode 13 IPL Retention Special. 31st October was the deadline and each and every team have announced their retentions. It was an interesting time, wasn't it, Kevin? We had a lot of news before and then we were just waiting for what would happen at the auction, at the retention, and we have seen that there are a lot of surprises, a lot of big names released, a lot of big names retained. It's going to be a lot of fun in the IPL auction as well, which is just 2 weeks away, 24 and 25 November. But first of all, Kevin, your thoughts on just in general on the retention with the rules around and how teams have proceeded with it.
Oh, it's been a fantastic retention, and I've never been as excited as I've been in the past 1 month, trying to predict which teams are going to retain which players. And there was a few surprises, and I think the Royals, be it the Royal Challengers Bangalore or Rajasthan Royals, always have and you can say an ace or a joker up their sleeve. So it was fun. Everything was according to you can say what we expected, and I was surprised to see five teams release their captains. And that is something new which I was not expecting. But going forward, this is the first time that we'll be having the auction and the retention spaced out within 2 months. So I'm excited about that. So there's a lot of content for us to discuss, and hope we can continue.
Nikhil, Kevin mentioned we have a lot of content to discuss, which we have. Obviously, there was a test series which India has lost 3-0, but people won't talk about it because the IPL auction is here. But Nikhil, your thoughts first of all on the IPL retention. Were you surprised with the names being released? Like, for example, Rishabh Pant, Shreyas Iyer, KL Rahul, a lot of big names being released. Even RCB retaining just three players. Mohammad Siraj is released. Mohammad Shami is released. I mean, this is going to be an actual mega auction, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's going to be a fast bowlers auction, as we can see. Everyone's retained their batters because I don't know, for some reason all the teams they're more comfortable keeping their batting core, and they know what they have right in their batting. They trust their batters more, and I mean the captains that have been released. Shreyas Iyer actually. I don't know about you. I'm actually kind of okay with that. Like if I'm a KKR fan, I kind of feel like okay, that kind of makes sense, like the players they've retained and the prices at which they've retained actually make a lot more sense than say retaining Shreyas Iyer at 18 crore. I think that's actually way too much. And so yeah, I think that makes sense. The KL Rahul thing, obviously there were some disagreements between the ownership and him, and so that makes sense. I think it kind of ruined like there was that countdown, and then all the retentions came. It kind of ruined it because obviously Shubham already knew everything. He was giving us all the information in the group, so there was no suspense left. But otherwise, it would have been really fun to see all everyone's reactions when all the names drop. But yeah, it's going to be fun. There's going to be a lot of fast bowlers and a lot of teams going after all the fast bowlers. So you've got Arshdeep Singh, you've got Siraj, and you've got Shami, all like three proper Indian, fast bowlers who probably should be in the squad, are in the squad, in the first team squad. So yeah, it's going to be fun, and yeah, now all the planning starts for all the franchises. They don't have much time, and yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we also have inside information that Viv will be part of the Mumbai Indians setup for this IPL as well in the auction. So he was giving us good enough news as well with the Mumbai Indians retentions. All five will be retained was the news, and it turned out to be true. Viv, let's start with you. Which team do you want to start with? Because we have obviously 10 teams. Which do you want to start with, the Mumbai Indians, or let's go to the Mumbai Indians a bit later?
Yeah, I think we can begin with Mumbai Indians since even for the previous discussion, that was the major team which required lots of discussion. And
Yeah.
just a thought on the players which have been released, big
Mm-hmm.
players like Shreyas Iyer, Rishabh Pant, etc. So I feel that for some teams, it might be just a better allocation of the purse as well. Because, for example, Shreyas Iyer, of course, he they have six retentions, so they can't just RTM Shreyas Iyer.
Correct.
But even in the normal auction, I don't think Shreyas Iyer will go for 18 CR. So they can just buy him back for cheaper because there are other better players who will go for much higher. And considering that, teams won't be left with enough purse to bid for Shreyas Iyer or say Mohammad Siraj also. So Siraj might be available for 8 9 CR. Shreyas Iyer might be available for 12 13 CR. So some of the releases might just be strategic releases to buy them back for cheaper rather than just a breakup with the team as such. And similarly, he spoke about Arshdeep as well. So possibly, like I know there is unfollowing and all that happened, but who knows? I mean, eventually, it's a IPL is also a business along with sports. So
Yep.
as if you look at it as sports, then people tend to get very emotional. But if you look at it as a business, then some of these decisions tend to make more sense. So with that background set, I think we can start off with Mumbai Indians.
Yeah, I definitely agree with your point that a lot of these releases can be based on the purse allocation. Can they be bought back at say a lower price and all that? And obviously, from a business standpoint of view, it makes a lot of sense. Some of these retentions. What makes a lot of sense is the Mumbai Indians retentions as well. The all the top five have been retained. Jasprit Bumrah, the top retention at 18 CR. The three Indian batters, or I would say an all rounder as well, have got almost the same price. Surya Kumar Yadav 16.35, Hardik Pandya 16.35, Rohit Sharma 16.3, and then Tilak Verma, who has been the rising star over the last 3 years, is being retained at the fifth spot at 8 CR. They have a budget of 45 CR remaining. Viv, I think the core is done and dusted. What they would need is a couple of overseas fast bowlers, probably an opener with Rohit Sharma. So some of those things they will look at in the auction. But do you think these retentions make full sense?
Yes, I mean one of the team that has consistently suffered with with these mega auctions has been Mumbai Indians because since I mean the first few seasons were not so great, but since 2013, the team has mostly been consistent. The core has been consistent, and every time we had to buy back players much costlier. So considering that, I feel the retentions are great. Plus, it shows a great culture in the team that everyone agreed that Bumrah is, of course, the most valuable player in the world right now. So, him getting 18 CR was a no brainer. And the other three agreeing to settle for almost the same amount shows that they want to play together as a team, which probably didn't happen as much. And the mental setup of the team matters a lot. So, now that all three of them are at the same price effectively, I feel the team will be more homogeneous. And speaking about the things that are required, rather speaking first about the uncapped player. So there were so many options to go from. For example, Nehal Vadera, then Anshul Kamboj, then Akash Madwal, Namandir, and few others as well. Ritik Shaukin also possibly, if they wanted, they could have retained. But considering the whole number of players to be auctioned, either of them can make sense and not all of them will go above 4 CR in the auction. So depending on that, they could possibly just use RTM for the cheapest one out of all those. So that is one thing I feel why they did not retain the uncapped player. And looking at the options, I feel they might go for UZ because spin department is something that we have significantly lacked in over the last few years. Of course, wily old Piyush Chawla has been doing his job, but still a great bowler like UZ or say they can also bring back Bolt. So those are a few options that they will be looking at. Other than that, let's see which players they go for. But the main thing is that five Indians, so their core is sorted. Now they can go into the auction more freely because the five players that are retained are sure to play all 14 matches most probably unless there is some injury. So now effectively in 45 CR you have to we can say spend around 35 CR or plus for the six players and balance 8 9 CR can be used for the backups. So I feel there is enough money on the table still left for Mumbai Indians to go for good picks.
Makes sense. As I said, will be around that auction table, so he knows all the amounts which Mumbai Indians is planning to spend on their first 12 with the impact player. Kevin, we've made an important point about playing as a team, because that is probably which didn't happen last year, and that's why they finished last. There were issues within the team, as we all know. It's public knowledge now. They have also announced Hardik Pandya as the captain. They are keeping him as the captain. Your thoughts on that? And because there were a lot of talks whether Rohit Sharma will get back his captaincy, whether Surya Kumar Yadav should get the captaincy, considering he's the Indian T20 captain now. Your thoughts on that, and obviously on the uncapped player, which player do you look at for the RTM option?
Yeah, it was a strange decision that they still persisted with Hardik Pandya, but by backing him, they made very clear that last season's failures had nothing to do with him as a captain. So by sticking to that decision, they have made it clear that this is Project Pandya. This is the way that we're going to go forward. There were reports that Surya Kumar Yadav mentioned that he would like to captain Mumbai Indians in the future, but the management mentioned to him that they can't promise him captaincy, and at the moment they're looking at him as a pure batsman. And at that point of time, maybe he may have had a thought of moving to another franchise and captaining, but like an expert mentioned that nobody leaves or nobody wants to leave Mumbai Indians, and especially when you see what has happened with Delhi Daredevils, sorry, Delhi Capitals now, and the turbulence that is there within that management. I don't think playing for such a team where there is no you can see the foundations are not strong and you don't know what's going to happen. It's not it doesn't make sense. So that's what I feel why Hardik why Hardik is going to lead Mumbai Indians, and Rohit Sharma and Surya Kumar have considered staying back. And the good thing about the retentions, what Mumbai Indians have done, they've ensured that everyone is given a little bit of promotion. There's nobody whose salary has been cut. I thought that after the news of Klassen had broken down, maybe we would see Bumrah edging towards the 20 crore mark. And I was thinking that the fourth retention, whether it would be Rohit or Ishan Kishan, would get around 14 crores for that matter. They've still managed to have Rohit Sharma at 16 crores, which shows that the team has after the World Cup victory, everyone's like, what has changed as compared to 2024 and 25, because these were the five big guys together. And I think that World Cup victory, I think, has what settled in. And I feel with the five good Indian players, I'm not sure whether they want to use the RTM on an uncapped player, because 4 crores is a big amount, and for a they have that RTM option, but I feel they would like to invest that money and get you know young players for around base prices, and out of the
No, no,
45
it's not
crores.
necessary that the player goes for 4 crores. Say he goes for 1 crore, they can use the RTM for that, right?
Yes, I agree, but
Yeah.
they're not as valuable to Mumbai as they are valuable to other franchises. So I'm saying that out of the 45 crores, they would like to budget 25 to 30 crores on two good fast bowlers, and they'll be very active in that marquee set when teams like Punjab, Lucknow, RCB, and even GT will be holding on to the four big guys in Kishan, KL Rahul, Shreyas Iyer, and Rishabh Pant. So that's when I'm going to be very excited to see the fight between Rajasthan Royals and Mumbai Indians for Stark, Bolt, Janssen. So more than trying to get back their 2024 players, I think they'll be going and trying to get back the players that they had from 2018 to 2021, be the Quinton de Kock, Krunal Pandyas, Rahul Chahers, because these players were the ones who helped Mumbai and fill in the gaps and help them do well. So I'll be more interested in seeing how they get those players as compared to using the RTM on Namadhir, Nahil Vadera, Akash Madwal, and this. If I'm getting
Yeah.
them back
So
for a cheaper rate, yeah,
yeah. So just a point to add here that anyways they have used their five cap players RTM. So
Correct.
anyways RTM can be used only for uncapped right now.
Uncapped. Correct.
yes,
And
Correct.
whichever players that they are looking at, Namandir, Nayal, Vadera, they will go for a decent price.
yes,
So even if that settles at 1 CR, they can just use the RTM option to see what price the next team is offering in the
Ye-
new
yes, exactly. That's
rules.
what's going to happen. That's what
So,
that.
so like they
Yeah,
can push other teams' costs higher for these players as well. And if say a Namandir can be bought back at 2 CR or so, then it still makes sense to go for the RTM for that player. Because
yeah,
anyways they can't use it for Kishan anymore because
Correct.
five caps are already done. So that's why I feel they will use the RTM. Akash Madwal for 1.5 CR again would make sense, or say Anshul Kamboj. So that way it makes sense to use that RTM and use RTM for all of these players to push other
Yeah,
teams' prices higher as well.
yeah,
So
exactly. I feel this is the main reason why I feel they're not retained that six player, because they're going to have a lot of fun with this RTM card. They're going to, if suppose no team is going to let Mumbai get a nail whether for 1 crore, 20 lakhs, or anything around that amount. The moment they use the RTM, the other team is going to bid an amount close to 4 crores, and we're going to see Mumbai say, no, we're not going to match that bid.
yeah,
That's what's going to happen. So that's the reason I said they might not use it, but I didn't rephrase that in a better way.
yeah,
But yeah, they're going
Yeah.
to be. I wish they had kept that one slot empty, because I thought they'll, make that auction very interesting. And I thought that one slot would be between Rohit and Kishan, because although Rohit brings that brand value, Kishan was the much more a valuable play in terms of utility. Because now they're going to go back into that phase where they need a keeper. And Quinton de Kock, I think, will be number one. They want a left-hander keeper option in Quinton de Kock, but I'm not sure whether other teams will let Mumbai get him for cheap.
Yeah, interesting thought process with the RTM. They're using it so that other teams increase the price and then just not use the RTM towards the end. Like just say that we are not going to match the bid. Nikhil, another team which has retained five is your team, your favorite team, Sunrisers Hyderabad, and they have done a similar job. Let's move on to that team as well. They have also have one fast bowler, Pat Cummins at 18 CR. Rest are mostly batters. Obviously, Nitish Kumar Reddy is what we are calling the next Hardik Pandya or somewhere around that. So it's a pretty similar team combination in that terms, just that they have two openers, whereas Mumbai Indians have an opener and a middle order bat in Surya Kumar Yadav. Travis said Abhishek Sharma, Henrik Klassen at 23 CR, but as Kevin says, the 23 CR doesn't make a lot of a difference because the total which they have retained all five are is 75 CR. So at the end, they are having a purse of 45 CR in the auction. I think, Nikhil, if you don't mind, Nitish Kumar Reddy is a steal at 6 crore. He would have easily got at least 8 to 10 CR in this open market, isn't it?
Yeah, he's a steal at 6 crore, but the bracket that he comes under, did he go under, is it 11
It is
or
11,
14?
It's
but
enough.
they
11.
are
I
signing him
think
for
feel
6
like that
CR.
feels a bit much. That, yeah, they signed him for 6 CR, so
Yeah,
the actual money that goes out of their purse is 6 CR, but the money that goes out of their auction purse is more. So I feel like in the end, the money it's not there for the auction, right? I mean, that's the whole
correct.
point of having these retentions. Okay, you can get a few players on lesser contracts, and then the actual money is less, but the auction money stays the same. So
No, but
I don't know, it was just
basically that 5
unfortunate.
CR was given to Henrik Klassen, who has been retained at
Yeah,
23. Yeah, correct.
yeah. So it's unfortunate that he had to make his debut like a few weeks before his the auction. Otherwise, for 4 CR, it would have been perfect. I think he would have been happy as well. But now his kind of profile is just going up and up. He got selected in the test squad for Australia, and maybe he might have thought, okay, like 4 CRs may way too less. He wants more. So, anyways, the retentions feel good. This is the second year now where Pat Cummins and Dan Vittori, that think tankers, is going to be together. And yeah, we'll see what they think in the auction. We're going to need more fast bowlers. I think every team needs a spinner, which is going to be very interesting. Or am I wrong? Has any team retained a spinner?
Yeah,
Akshar Patel and Kuldeep
Yeah, I
Kohli.
think, and obviously GT with Rashid Khan. Those two teams
KKR.
have
GT have
retained a
Rashid.
spinner.
KKR have two
KKR have
spinners,
Chakravarti and
KKR
Narayan
has
as
and
well.
and
Sorry.
LSG
Bishnoi
has
as well.
Bishnoi.
Bishnoi.
Oh, there's a lot of
Vishnu.
spinners here.
So all the good spinners are gone. So I don't know
Yeah.
what the other teams are going to do for the rest of the spinners. But yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. There's obviously one that didn't play last season, Hasaranga, that they got on a very cheap deal as well. So if they can do that again, then the four internationals in Cummins, Hasaranga, Travis Head class, and that looks good. Um, but yeah, I mean, again, the opening pair is solid. It's just there. It's good. Nitish Kumar Reddy's position is going to be interesting where he's going to play, because he's not really a top order batter, but he did really well last season. So you might as well, like, if you want, you can even push him to three now, and if we lose an early wicket, he can use the power play overs, and he's attacking, so he can kind of continue the momentum from the openers. So middle order batters are going to be needed. Middle order Indian batters. I think SRH have always struggled with Indian middle order batters.
Yeah.
Manish Pandey was like the guy, and he obviously failed. So we're going to have to go back. Rahul Tripathi was a good option, and he did well. And they could go back to him if they can get him at a good price. Like that's an interesting actually point. Like how many? Like I can ask you this, Shubham. How many
Mhm.
teams you think would prefer to keep their players, with them, like the player from last season? How many teams do you think would prefer to keep that instead of having to go to the auction and get someone new, someone who they don't
Mhm.
know, even if it's for a cheaper price, like even having to say pay the extra 1 crore, 2 crores extra. So say like for Natrajan, Sunrisers, like there's a lot of options. KKR also have a lot of options. Mumbai have options where they can pay a few extra crores and they can keep their players that they had from last season. And then there's that familiarity and they know what they're getting and all that. The coaches know and all of that. You think teams are going to do that?
Yeah, I think that is always the case where teams would like to have their old players back, because not only the players know how the teams work, but also the teams understand these players. They have worked with them. As you said, the coaching staff has worked, because especially Sunrisers Hyderabad, now they have kept the same coaching staff. It kept changing for a couple of years when they were finishing last, but now again it's Dan Vittori and Pat Cummins. In fact, I understood that Pat Cummins has been speaking to some of these Indian bowlers to ask them whether
Oh,
they
has
want to
he?
come back. Sorry.
Okay. Has he?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. I didn't know that.
Yeah, in fact,
It's
I
good
also
that
have
he's
inside
interested.
news that he had asked Kuldeep Yadav to come into the auction because he wanted to buy him
Oh,
through the auction, but Kuldeep Yadav obviously didn't agree because, as you say, they need a spinner. That's the big
yeah,
question mark in their team as of now. Yes, Abhishek Sharma is a left arm spinner, but obviously he's more of a batter with probably 1 or 2 overs up his sleeve. But
yeah,
yeah, so I think Natarajan will be on their buyback list. Bhuvneshwar definitely will be on their buyback list because they keep buying him
yeah.
back at cheap prices, which is good. And then they
I
might
hope I hope Bhuvneshwar. I think they can get for maybe five, six, maybe
four,
even
yeah,
less
four
than
five,
that.
4-5. That was the price.
4, 5.
Not
That's
correct,
worth it. Like the
correct.
experience and
Yeah,
all that. And then Natarajan had a really good season last year, so I think
yes,
he's going to go.
go
He's going
for
to be
big money.
expensive.
Yeah, even I
Yeah,
feel,
and
and being a
they
left
might
armor,
lose him
being
close.
a left armor, he will definitely be in demand because Yash Dayal has been retained. You have Arshdeep, Natarajan, and Khalil, the three big left armors, which will be up in the auction apart from Chetan Sakari and all these guys. But Kevin, the RTM option, I think we discussed this. They only can use the RTM option for an uncapped player, and the option which comes up is Abdul Samad. The other option which I recently talked to you about is Mayank Markandi. Even though he has played for India, he played in 2019. So because of this new rule, he too becomes uncapped. So are those two the only options they might be looking at as the RTM?
Yeah, I think so. That those two are the closest. It depends whether I feel Abdul Samad is someone whom they would like to use the RT one because they've invested in him a lot.
Yeah,
He's been playing with them since 2020, I think. Yeah, since 2020,
yeah.
and yeah.
He's still
Uh,
only 23.
Yeah.
Yes, so I think he's worth investing. And the moment you get that finisher over there, their batting looks more sorted. I'm very keen on seeing who their fourth overseas player is going to be. What are they looking at? Do they want an overseas spinner? Because that would be much better as to depend on you can say an overseas fast bowler. Because with the budget that they have,
Yeah,
I don't think it's easy to get a fast bowler. And for their ground, I don't
no.
think it makes sense as well. They tried it, it didn't work out. I don't know which player they're going to miss the most. They had Glenn Phillips, they had Aiden Markram, they had Hasaranga, they had Fazal Faruqi, they had even Marco Jansen. So a lot of good overseas players. I don't know whether they're looking at getting any of these back. And
Yeah,
from an Indian perspective, they had Mayank Agrawal, Tripathi. They also had the Shabaz Ahmed, whom I rate a lot. So their success in 2020 was because of Shabaz Nadeem. They got in Shabaz Ahmed, and he did he broke my heart when in the qualifier when he got those wickets against he and Abhishek Sharma when they got those wickets against Rajasthan Royals. So
so
he's someone whom I think that they would like to get back, but going back in the days 2018 onwards, the strength of SRH was their Indian bowling. I don't know how they're going to get an Indian bowling back again.
Yeah, so
Building.
I think it's interesting because I think you said like the squad quality was really good last season.
Yes.
Like I think we had a very strong squad. Like even our backups were very strong. Like Washington Sundar played like 2 3 matches and then he
Yes.
was benched. Like that good. That was how good our squad was. And I think having retained so many players and having less in the auction, I think our squad quality is going to go down. And I think we're going to have to pick and choose our battles. I think we're going to have to lose out on. Obviously, we will lose out on KL Rahul, Shreyas Iyer, Rishabh Pant. We don't need anyway. We don't. I don't think they'll be targeting those guys. But even
Yeah.
guys like Arshdeep Singh, I think we'll miss out on him. Chahal, I think we'll miss out on him because I don't think we can afford to buy those guys and then still build a
No,
good
but I
squad.
think Chehel does come around in that 6-7 bracket. I don't think he will go at a huge price because he's not playing
I
for
think
India
Chahal will
anymore.
go for a big price because I think
Mm.
a lot of teams don't have Indian leg spinners and like a good quality Indian leg spinner. Like we talked
Yeah.
on Mike Markande on RTM, I think that's a good option. I hadn't thought of that because of he played for India, but
Correct.
I think he'll also be expensive because if you look at like the pool, like there aren't many Indians like spinners who are
Yeah.
doing like well at the top level. There's very few. So I think Chahal, Markande, these guys will go for a lot of money, I think.
Yeah, even I agree on that. The point with Chahal is if you don't bid on Chahal and you let Chahal go, your next best option is Rahul Chahal. And on a good day,
Yeah,
Chahal,
Rahul Chahal is there.
on his best, Chahal can get you 4 wickets, 5 wickets. But the same cannot be said for Rahul Chahal. So because of that big
He's
gap, I
just
think.
gone down a
Yeah,
level, Rahul
just
Chahal. Yeah.
because of that big gap that is there, I think the teams if they're going to invest 4 crores, they on like for example on Rahul Chair, I would rather invest 11 crores on getting Chahal because the moment I saw that it's all about bowling lineups. The more bowling partnerships that you can build, that is a much better convenient option rather than trying to fill in loopholes. And coming back to the SRH, the good squad. The best thing about having a good squad is even though you may not use the players, you're preventing those players from playing against you. So if you see the other
Mm.
teams that didn't have these players, how you can see the comparison that they have, and that's what happens when you have a mega auction. And we saw it with Delhi as well when they had a very good squad in 2021. The moment they lost those players, they took them 2 years to recover. So
Yeah.
and in
No,
Sunrise,
they haven't recovered yet.
so they're on the verge of recovering.
But yeah,
Yeah,
just
like
a
if
quick
you
one.
ask
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
if you give me the option, what like if you ask me, like if you can have the same squad back, like
Mhm.
if they're able to get the same squad backs, like with the money they have, I think I would take it because it's a very
Yeah.
strong
It's
squad.
not happening.
But I just don't think it's possible to make a
Yeah.
very good, healthy squad with the money they have. What is it? Is it second or third lowest, right? In the I think
Yeah, it's second
only
lowest.
one team has less than us. Yeah, so
Yeah.
Correct.
it's
It's
going to
the
be very
Rajasthan
tough.
Royals who have less than, I mean, who have the lowest purse, and Mumbai and SRH have 45 CR each. So yeah,
I have
It's going
one
to be
question
tough.
for I have one question for Nikhil, that if there
yeah.
is one player, if they could retake, they could buy back only one player from their 2024 squad, who's that one player going to be, and who's that one player you want from another team to help you fill in the gaps that have been created?
Oh, that's a good question. One player that if they can get back, I think it has to be Natarajan if it's at
Yeah,
a
I mean,
good price.
yeah.
I
And
think
what is a good price?
Natarajan
8 crores, around
yeah,
8 crores.
anything less than 8 crores, I think
Okay.
7 to 8 crores, anything less than that, I think that's a good price. And one player from another team, um, so we need like an Indian middle order back. So you can get one of those. I mean, Rishabh Pant actually makes sense in that, but yeah, I wasn't even thinking about him because the price is going to be way too
Yes, yes.
much. But otherwise, Rishabh Pant makes good sense.
Abhinav
Um,
Manohar can be a good option for the middle order.
yeah, Abhinav
He
Manohar
has
can
been
be good
beaten
as well.
every time.
Because a lot of teams will be going for like the number six, like finisher, Indian batter, and there aren't many. Like Abdul Samad,
Yeah.
actually, it
Ashutosh
makes
Sharma.
sense to
Ashutosh
RTM.
Sharma. You can get him.
Was
Ashutosh
he not
Sharma.
retained? Okay,
No, no, no. He's
Ashutosh
not
Sharma.
retained. It's Shashank Singh who has been retained.
Okay, so he's
I thought
there. So, but everyone is going for him now. So that now that he's in the
I
auction.
thought you'd go for a bowler or something, so I was excited to see which bowler you would be interested in because
Bowlers, I feel like there is a bigger pool, I think. I think there's a bigger Indian bowler pool. Like there's like Prasidh Krishna, Avesh Khan, Khalil Ahmed, you know,
Mukesh Kumar,
Mukesh Kumar, there's Chetan Sakari, as you said. There's a few of them. So I think we can build a good Indian
Shardul
fast.
Thakur, Deepak Chair. We can keep naming Indian fast bowlers in the auction.
There's a lot, and they'll all be split up now. I think because every team will look to have at
yeah,
least two, three of those like top level IPL
Yeah.
level fast bowlers, and they'll all be split up now.
Yeah, Arjun Tendulkar also.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
surprised that in fact they can use the RTM for him.
yeah. I was
20
going.
lakhs. In fact, sorry, I heard that the base price has increased from 20 lakhs to 30 lakhs now. So 30 lakhs, 10 lakh increase in Arjun Tendulkar's pocket money for this year's IPL. In
But they
fact, he
anyways
was
bid. But anyways, one team usually bids for one single
yeah,
turn for Arjun, so he anyways goes for 30.
correct. This time it could be 40. Moving on from
Okay,
Sunrisers
yeah, we'll
Hyderabad,
move on. Yeah.
let's talk about the Rajasthan Royals, who have the lowest purse in this IPL auction. They have changed in coaching staff. Rahul Dravid has joined the team. Vikram Rathod has joined the coaching staff as well, if I'm not wrong. And obviously, Sanju Samson with back-to-back hundreds is the captain at 18 CR. Yashasvi Jaiswal, who has had a meteoric rise in the last 18 months, gets 18 CR. He deserves it. Rian Parag, 14 CR, and Dhruv Jurel, who has looked a class apart in the India A game, gets 14 CR. Sandeep Sharma as the uncapped player at 4 CR, and how can I miss Shemron Hetmyer at 11 CR? Kevin, let's start with you. You being the biggest RR fan in the history of in the history of this IPL. Dhruv Jurel at 14 CR and Shemron Hetmar at 11 CR. That was one of the retentions which I had no idea about. I had never put it on the group saying that this could be a possibility. It was always about Sanju, Jaiswal, Parag, and Sandeep Sharma as the uncapped. These two players come in as a surprise, but at the same time, it seems that they might have a bigger role for Dhruv Jurel in place because you can't pay 14 CR for a batter who is going to bat 7 balls per game.
Yeah, it's interesting as well. I like we were reading the reports, and I felt that they were looking at Josh Butler as the total retention because 18 crores, and then they said like I think at 34, Josh Butler, even though he's the heart and soul of this franchise, he's the second best player that Rajasthan has had from 2018 onwards, and they decided to go, and I thought it was a price perspective. But I agree with their call to pay Dhruv Jurel 14 crores. And the reason why I say that is because if you look into the auction pool, after uh, after the three big guys in Shreyas Iyer, Rishabh Pant, and KL Rahul, the next best player in that auction pool is going to be Dhruv Jurel. And the way that the franchise are building, I feel that they would have invested even 16 crores to 18 crores on Dhruv Jurel because he's just 20 to 23 years of age and he's going to be the future. And with the auctions, we've seen that you can retain a player for only 3 seasons, and after 3 seasons you have to rebuild. So having a player like this for franchises like DC, LSG, RCB, and even Punjab makes sense to invest that much money on him because I go back to that point in 2011 when RCB retained Virat Kohli. He was not a part of the T20 side at the time, but they knew what he's going to offer in the future in the years to come. And at that time, they paid him the exact amount that Rajasthan has agreed to pay all of the players. I'm very happy about that. That they have not done cost cutting. They've not felt that Jaiswal, from 4 crores, why should I pay you 18? I'll let the deduction be 18 and I'll pay you around 14 crores. But they have paid all the players the exact amount, so which is a good development going forward. And I'm a little surprised that they went with Chimran Hetmyer, but I understand why they've gone with Chimran Hetmyer is because like the auction is more of a relative game. You see what the other teams have done, and based on that, you take a call. And they may have
Mm.
felt that SRH had a Klassen as their finisher. You had Hardik Pandya with Mumbai as their finisher. You had Tristan Stubbs with Delhi. The moment Rishabh Pant was not going to sign that contract, you knew the player who was going to be picked was going to be Tristan Stubbs. So you have Tristan Stubbs over there. Nicholas Puran also I consider a bit like has the ability to finish games. So if you look at the and I'm presuming that Livingstone will go to Punjab as a RTM. So the next best player that could have been, you can say, retained for Rajasthan, they felt would have been Shimron Hetmyer. Let us close that finisher spot and let us go for
I will
bowlers
add a
because
name in that list, Tim David.
yes, Tim David,
Tim
Tim David.
David's levels just dropped, I feel, in the last few years,
Yeah,
right?
I
I
still
feel
feel
like,
that. Yeah, so
yeah,
I feel that he has a market value, but the thing with Rajasthan, I think what they may have gone is like they know what to expect from Shimron Hetmyer. With Tim David, you've
mm,
seen what he can do. Do they want to take that gamble on him? Because if Tim David now
there's
that
not
Tim David,
many, there's
yeah, if
not many like middle order, lower order like finishers, and like trusted finishers where you're like,
yes,
okay, we have this guy in 4 overs, 50 runs, he can do it.
hmm,
Like those kind of guys, there aren't many.
yeah,
So it makes sense for Shimran Atmar to stay, I think.
yes, and I think
Same
the
with,
point that they have to make is we're looking at that 11 crores for that 11 crores slot, even if they had not
yeah.
retained, then who what like they would have to
Avish,
give.
Avish. I would put in Avish's name there.
Yes, and
He is gonna get around 11 CR in the auction, I feel.
I was also of the opinion that the last two slots, one would have been a toss up between Joss Butler and Dhruv Jurel. Do they want to go with experience? Because if you look at that side, Rajasthan Royals, it's a completely young side, and we've seen it with Dravid as well. That back in the day, 2011 to 13, he had always had that young side backing up the order, and he had all the experienced players bat down. It's something which I didn't agree. Even in 2016 to 17, when he played with Delhi, he had that same setup where he had all the youngsters bat ahead and had the guys like Marlon Samuels, Angelo Matthews, Corey Anderson, all the experienced international players below, and that is the reason why they struggled a bit. So I was not sure where he's going to align with Dhruv Jurel or Joss Butler. In the end, they made the right decision with Dhruv Jurel. And the second was I thought it was a toss up between Chahal and Avish Khan, but I think they've gone with Hetmeyer, which is surprising because Hetmeyer doesn't play international T20s for in West Indies. He just come back into the side and he doesn't even play a lot of franchise cricket. I saw a little bit what he did in with the 100
CPL.
at
He was in the
Lords.
CPL as well.
That is the only that he had an excellent CPL. That is
Correct,
the
yeah.
only reason why they may have decided to go ahead with him and retain him. And if Rajasthan has those camps and all, I wish they have him in those camps and get him back to full fitness. But I'm actually surprised that they went Hetmeyer because they needed a left-hander with all those right-handers in there. But back to Shimron Hetmeyer, I don't see him batting. Above five. He'll bat at six only. Maybe five if we are going into the 15 overs onwards. But yeah, it's a surprising strategy because Hyderabad, they had really good fast bowlers. You let go of Trent Bowl up. You have let go of Trent Bowl, Navdeep Saini, Kuldeep Sen. Kuldeep Sen, I feel is one good player. I won't be surprised if he go for 6 to 8 crores. He's just
Mm.
he bowls pretty fast, and he's just about line and length is a little bit of concern, but I think with time he's going to develop. So if there is one player that franchises are looking at, Hyderabad as well, Mumbai as well, I think you have to look at Kuldeep Sen. He just needs a little bit support from the other end, but I feel he's a player that I'll be very excited to see in the auction where he goes.
Viv, talking about the Rajasthan Royals, I would like to hear your thoughts on this particular issue, which I would like to bring up. As Nikhil mentioned towards the start of the podcast, that most of the teams have retained their batters and let go of their bowlers, which Rajasthan have done as well. But if you see Rajasthan over the last 3 years, especially, built their team on a bowling attack, which included Ashwin, Chahal, Avesh Khan last year, Prasidh Krishna, Trent Bolt, and then one of the overseas fast bowlers, either Nandre Berger, Obed McCoy played in between. You had Adam Zampa play a couple of games, if I'm not wrong. Keshav Maharaj played some games, but it was a five-man great bowling attack, which they are moving away from because at this point they just have Sandeep Sharma, who they have retained. They have let go of Avesh Khan, Prasidh Krishna, Yuzvendra Chahal, Ashwin, and Trent Bolt. They will find it difficult to get that strong a bowling attack with the amount they have in their purse, isn't it?
Yeah, so I feel that if we, yeah, so I feel that they have retained a decent core, and like of course in hindsight we can say that it's better now with Dhruv Jurel's performance and Sanju Samson's back-to-back hundreds. So I feel that Sanju had this idea initially that he would open for India, and considering that he would replace Butler at the top. So if he can give RR 2 3 centuries in the 14 games, then I feel that will be the same role that Butler used to play. That plus Jurel at 3, Parag at 4, and Hetmeyer at 5, or Hetmeyer at 4 and Parag at 5. The top 5, I think, would be sorted, and one bowler is sorted. Of course, considering 41 CR, they would have to go for slightly cheaper bowlers. But let's see how it goes. And as we listed down the number of fast bowlers that are there in the auction, so there are many. So considering that, some of them will be available for cheap. I mean, even Vaishak Vijay Kumar and all are also available. Anshul Kamboj is there, and Akash Agarwal is there. Then others like possibly a few of the players. Yudhvir Singh Charaf is there. So many of the players who were there in the team for the previous years, they might be available for a bargain price. And considering that it's the first year of the auction, I mean, it's mega auction, so they might buy a few cheaper players this year and develop them till the next year. So they might not be playing just for this year, because if we see, except for Sandeep Sharma, rest of their retentions are all very young.
Yeah.
So Samson can play for the next 5 6 years. Jaiswal will play for the next 10 years. Parag can play for the next 10 years. Dhruv Jurel can play for the next 10 years. Hetmeyer can be traded out for someone else, so that can be a call that can be taken. But most of their players that they have retained is for the next 4 5 years. So the bowlers that they pick can also be such that possibly this year they can slightly go, say, finish fourth or fifth, and then later for the next year and third year they might have a stronger team. So this is something that they might go for, because similarly we have seen with MI as well that after auctions they usually take a year or so to pick it up again, and then the team is very strong. So after the 2018 was the second last mega auction, right? So after 2018 they won 19 and 20, but they didn't win 2018. So accordingly, let's see how it goes for them.
Yeah,
I
I
would just
think
like to add on.
one point. Sorry,
Yeah.
Kevin. One point. I think one thing that's going to happen in the auction for RR, I think, is that they'll try to go for their players, like all the Butlers, Chahels, and Aveshes, and all them. And I think they're going to see that they're missing out on all of them, because I just don't think they can compete with the other teams with their purse. I think they'll miss out on a lot of players that they're planning on keeping back. Like they might be thinking, okay, Chahel, we've let go because we just don't think he's going to be worth that 14, 11, or 18. But I think even for like 10, 11 crores, they might not get him. I think many players they'll miss out on because of their strength of their purse or lack of.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that point, because these players are not going to come between 41 CR, what the purse they have.
Yeah,
So yeah,
no.
definitely. Moving on from the Rajasthan Royals to the Lucknow Super Giants, who have let go of their captain KL Rahul, who can't hit a ball at this moment, can't find runs. He is missing balls from a spinner. It's disappointing news for India, considering that he might open in the first test in the absence of Rohit Sharma. But coming back to the IPL, Nicholas Puran, who is one of the most sought after T20 players, gets 21 CR, who might be their captain if they don't find a captain in the IPL auction. Ravi Bishnoi, who picked up 3 wickets yesterday, is retained at 11 CR. Mayank Yadav, on the basis of 3 IPL games and 3 India games, has got a price of 11 CR. Mohsin Khan, who had a better IPL season than him in 2022, has been retained for just 4 CR, and Badoni at 4 CR. Nikhil, let's start with you on Lucknow Super Giants. What do you make of this? Two uncapped players. I think this is the team which is building on bowlers more than batters, because you see Mohsin, Ravi, and Mayank Yadav, three bowlers. That's 12 overs if everybody is fit. And in the batting department, you just have Puran and Baroni as of now. They have a pretty decent purse of 69 CR. Do you think one of Iyer or Pant could be on their target list?
Yeah, I think so. I think they've kept their powder dry, right, for all these players. They're looking for the I Shreyas Iyer or Rishabh Pant. I think those are the only two guys. I mean, they might even look for Butler. Like even that can make sense. Even someone like Arshdeep Singh that could make sense, and that bowling then looks really good. Arshdeep, Mayank, and Mohsin, three Indian fast bowlers, that looks good. But yeah, they'll be looking for all the big buys or some of the big buys. They've kept their squad. I think on purpose they've kept it light. They can go big in the auction. They can get some big players. And yeah, I think Nicholas Puran 100% deserves that 21 crores. He's been one of the best T20 batters in the last few years. Mayank Yadav, it feels a bit much, but it's on potential, so it's fine. And Mohsin Khan, Ayush Bardoni, those are smart retentions, uncapped retentions. So they have what do they have? They have two capped RTMs, right? For capped players.
They have they have one RTM. Five have been retained, so they have one RTM,
Okay, they
and
have one.
the
They have
talk is about
one
either
RTM.
Marcus Stoinis or Krunal Pandya is what they might be looking at in the RTM segment.
Yeah, I mean, leaving Marcus Stoinis go was a little bit surprising.
Yeah,
I think they should have kept him. I think Marcus Stoinis is such a valuable player, right? I think as like a as like a T20 package, it doesn't get like much better than Marcus
I
Stoinis, I
agree with
think.
you. I completely agree.
So I think he will go for a lot of money, and I think they'll struggle to RTM him as well. And Krunal Pandya, yeah, he makes sense. They can go for Krunal Pandya. But yeah, they'll look for big buys, and they'll build their squad as well, and under new leadership as well. Like it'll be interesting if they give Puran the captaincy for this year. That is, if they don't get one of Shreyas or Rishabh. I think if they get one of them, they'll straight away be captain in whichever franchise they go to. But yeah, it looks good. They'll go big, and they'll get some big buys this year, I think.
I feel with Stoinis, they might not have reached a price agreement because if we see that Puran has to get 21, and the
Correct.
second 14 CR player had to leave out his 3 CR, like the
Correct.
way we see in the option in the retentions right now. And
Mhm.
giving 18 for Stoinis might have been a bit too much for them. So they
Fair.
might be able to retain him for cheaper. And of course, he is like an invaluable player who can bowl a few, at least 2 3 overs and like go bonkers at the death. He almost won them a couple of games a couple of years back, which were seemed to be lost. One against RR, I remember that he had gone crazy at the end. But still, 18
Marcus.
CR might have been a bit too much for him. So it's possibly a price difference or a value difference that they see rather than not wanting to retain the player. Because ever since Cameron Green started playing well, Marcus Stoinis has also upped his game quite a lot.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I
With
think.
Marcus
Yeah, Nikhil.
Stoinis,
Sorry. Yeah.
yeah, sorry. With Marcus Stoinis, you can basically ask him to do whatever role and he can do it. I think in
Yeah.
batting, I think you can bat him at three and like all the way to number seven. He can fulfill any role. He can probably bowl as well in any phase. I think maybe not in the power play and in the death, but I think if needed, he can do that as well. Like as a package, he's just so good, and I think they've missed out on him. I think they'll be disappointed if they don't get him back as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Kevin, we had this discussion off the record as well that Marcus Stoinis will be one of the most sought after because he's an all rounder. And if you see, Cameron Green is one of the names, but unfortunately, he's injured for the next 6 to 8 months. So I'm not sure whether he'll be part of this IPL auction. So the others which you see again, Ben Stokes has not put his name in the auction. So Sam Curran seems the only other legit option as an overseas all-rounder who has been bits and pieces with his batting and bowling, and Marcus Stoinis is definitely well above him. So even were you surprised that I think Viv does make sense that probably the price agreement could have been an issue more than the player retention? What do you think on that?
Yeah, I'm surprised. So initially, my thought process was that they'll go with just three retentions with KL Rahul, second Puran, and Marcus Stoinis. But once KL Rahul moved out, so I felt it would be Marcus Stoinis, Nicholas Puran, and one of the bowlers, be it Mayank Yadav or Bishnoi. And once Mayank was injured, I thought they'll go with Bishnoi and maybe they'll try to RTM Mayank Yadav because we saw it back in the day with Bhuvi and Unatkat as well. When there was injury concerns around them, they SRH got them for pretty cheap, around 4 crores. So I was presuming they would get him back for around 11 crores. But I think it's a big gamble that to have a player, to let a player go in such a an RTM kind of like a scenario. So whatever they've done, I agree with them, because if you look at Marcus Stoinis, what's going to happen? He's going to come in the Marcus set. I presume he's going to come in the Marcus set, and
Not quite sure, because if the Marquee set is what it used to be, that players who play all three formats presumably play all three formats, then I think Marcus Stoinis might come in all rounders one, AR1.
okay, fine. So because
But that's
if
still at the top. It's pretty much at the top as we
yes,
see.
if he comes in the market set, I think LSG will get him it will get him really cheap. But if he comes around the all rounders too, once the big guys are gone, maybe he will go and hit that price mark. I think he'll go around 12 crores, because I'm trying to understand which teams would want to invest in him. So I don't see Mumbai giving him 11, 12 crores, because they already have Hardik Pandya. You have Hyderabad over there. Maybe Hyderabad might look at him. I'm not sure whether 11, 12
I think
crores is a
Punjab
lot.
Kings will definitely put in their hat there. Punjab Kings.
Punjab, maybe, I'm not sure, because they had him they traded him back in the day,
That was a
and
different coaching staff. You have to understand that it's Ricky
but
Ponting at the helm. If
but
they don't get Liam Livingston, then Marcus Stoinis should be one of those options.
yeah, I think maybe Punjab, maybe, for that matter. But besides, I think the battle is going to be between Punjab and who's the other team, with Lucknow, to get him back. I don't see
Yeah.
other teams. Maybe DC as well. Yeah, DC as
Yeah, I
well.
think
These three
DC, and
teams
I
are
think
going
we
to go
can
for
also
him.
put in GT's hat there, because they need an all rounder after Hardik. Obviously, they tried Asmatullah Omarzai, but he was nowhere close to Hardik. So maybe Marcus Stoinis could fill in that role.
Yeah, with GT, I don't see him going to GT, because the way Ashish Nira has been bidding for players, I think there's a certain mark till which he agrees to pay overseas players, beyond which he doesn't go. And we saw it last year with Stark as well. He had the opportunity to go for maybe up to 26, 27, because at that time they needed that player, but they didn't go for him. So I'm not sure whether they'll want to go to 12 crores for an overseas player who's already 35. So I think that the way that the GT will construct their side, they're going to get a lot of KKR players for cheap. The Indian batters, they'll try to get them and invest 11, 12 crores for those guys, rather than build, along this. Because I still feel that they would like to go back to Omar's side and develop him as a player.
Yeah. Interesting thoughts on Lucknow Super Giants. Let's move on to the next team, which is the Kolkata Knight Riders, the defending champions. And I would like to bring in Nikhil here, because he had thoughts on Shreyas Iyer, who has not been retained at 18 CR. If he can get on camera, yes, he's back there.
Yeah.
Rinku Singh at 13 CR. Just quickly, I will read out the names. Varun Chakravarti at 12 CR. Sunil Narayan at 12 CR. Andre Russell at 12 CR. Harshit Rana 4 CR. And Ramandeep Singh 4 CR. Now, the interesting thing here is the prices which you see are the prices paid to the players, but the amount deducted is the amount deducted which the slabs were instructed by the BCCI. So 18, 14, 11, 18. So that's the four amounts deducted, and obviously 4 and 4 for Harshit Rana and Ramandeep Singh. Nikhil, your thoughts on the first and the foremost point. Shreyas Iyer, captain, you don't think he deserves 18 CR?
Yeah, I think so. I think based on his record, I think that's what teams have done. Like I think even Butler was unlucky because he's been a little bit out of form. I think if he had a good IPL, I think he gets retained easy. But I think he didn't have a good IPL. Shreyas Iyer also didn't have a really good IPL. He had an okay IPL, I think. How many? He scored 400, 300, 350, 400 runs, right?
Yeah,
I
350,
think.
400. Yeah.
Yeah, so it wasn't an 18 crore level performance, but I think having said that, they've still done very well because obviously it's a title winning team. They were probably wanted to retain a lot more players, and they've done well. They've got their key guys. So Varun Chakravarti, Sunil Narayan, that is just like 8 overs bank. You can be very comfortable with those two spin bowlers. Russell is like the heartbeat of that team, so that's good. And Rinku Singh as a finisher, as I said, there's not many lower order finishers, number six, number seven, Indian batters who can finish. So, and he's one of the best. So they've managed to keep him. And Harshit Rana was a good young fast bowler. He'll develop as well. So they've done really well. And I think they probably won't go back to Shreyas Iyer, and they'll have to think of a captain as well. So that's another kind of a headache for them because they don't have the biggest of purses. So it's going to be interesting. I think. I mean, you do you think they'll go back for Shreyas Iyer if they get him for let's say if they get him like 14, for 13, 14, you think they'll go back?
Maybe. I don't think
Yeah.
they will get him for 13, 14 because there are, from what I hear, if I'm not wrong, I have got news that DC are really, really interested in him. They want him back as captain. They have let go of Rishabh Pant. DC and LSG are the two teams who will go pretty heavy on Shreyas Iyer. So it's purely based on captaincy purposes because, as Nikhil says, his IPL record is not as great as some of the Indian players. He's a decent middle order bat, plays spin really well, but obviously we know his issues against pace bowling and extreme pace bowling as well. Viv, if you
You can
want to
kind
jump,
of
sorry, yeah,
you can kind of hide him at field,
hide
right?
that,
Like
yeah,
yeah, and get other more aggressive batters around him. It can work. So if they
yeah.
get him for cheap, maybe they'll keep him.
Yeah,
Maybe
definitely. If they get him for cheap, they might consider. But I would
he
suggest they
probably
might
won't be
consider,
cheap.
say, a Venkatesh Iyer, a Nitish Rana, who Phil Salt. These players
Yeah.
will definitely be more on their list than Shreyas Iyer because those players played a more vital role in terms of performance, not captaincy. Viv, your thoughts on not only Shreyas Iyer but the players they had to let go of, because Mitchell Stark obviously one of the names, but it was pretty
Yeah.
obvious that he might not get retained. You have Phil Salt, Venkatesh Iyer, Nitish Rana. I definitely have missed a couple of names. Vaibhav Arora as an uncapped player. They obviously have two uncapped, but they don't have an RTM as well because they have retained all six. So you can't say RTM a Shreyas Iyer or a Phil
Mhm.
Salt or a Venkatesh Iyer. So they might find it a bit difficult to obviously get back all those players, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. So the like this is what this team is one of my favorite retentions of this auction because I'll come to who they have let go. But if we just look at the six players
Yeah,
that they have retained, so in the six players they have three all rounders. So if and considering pure bowling options, they have five bowlers effectively because Varun, Sunil Narayan, Andre Russell, Ramandeep, and Harshit Rana, all of them can bowl. So even if Ramandeep and say Russell can bowl 2 overs each, they still have like 16 overs are covered already. So effectively for the playing 11, they just need one more bowler. Then they have
true.
three finishers in Rinku, Russell, and Ramandeep. So the finishers are done. Then they have a top order batsman in Sunil Narayan. And even if we can give say 80% of last year's season, that is still a great thing from him. So considering what they have right now, they have a very solid core which they have retained. Coming to the players that they have let go, I think Shreyas Iyer never would have made sense for 18th year because if we look at the last season, then I feel it's more about the individual performances which were good rather than his captaincy, which highly impacted KKR win. Because I mean, I might be wrong, but I don't remember any spectacular captaincy decisions which were taken which ended up in the team winning as compared to say Naren's wonders or Russell having a great innings or Rinku having a great innings or say Varun Chakravarti picking up the crucial wickets. So I feel captain has a lesser role in this team because the players themselves are so perfect for the roles that they do that Shreyas Iyer, if they can get him for 8 to 9 CR, possibly that's the most that they will go for him because otherwise there would be other options available. Uh, Faf du Plessis can also be one option which they might get for slightly discounted price because he's coming towards the end of his career, but still he can partner Nareen at the top because Nareen can go ballistic from ball one and Faf du Plessis can get some time to play himself in. And other than that, Phil Salt and others unfortunately had to miss out because they wanted to retain this score. So this was one team which could have retained all its 11 players
Yeah,
minus Mitchell Stark because 25 CR still doesn't make sense to give for any player unless other players are taking a budget cut in their own salary.
yeah,
And as we heard in many of the other podcasts as well, that Rinku Singh's win or retention feels like a personal victory. Just that him agreeing to stay at 13, I feel, is a bargain which they got on a monetary terms. Of course, he 18 CR will be deducted from the purse, but he agreed to stay for 13. That is, I guess, a repayment from him for to KKR for showing loyalty towards him. So I feel that's a great selection. So if I had to personally give the like rank the team's retentions, then KKR and Mumbai would be my top two in the rankings because I feel they have achieved the best from what the options that they have.
Yeah, Kevin, I like the way we've broke it down, saying that they have 16 overs, they have three finishers, an opener, and uh, who did I miss? And Ramandeep Singh as well as the uncapped player who is a terrific fielder. So that's basically beautifully broken down by Viv there, because then it seems like it's a pretty very good retention from the Kolkata Knight Riders, because I was looking at the players they missed out on. But obviously, as Viv says, they can get, say, instead of a Phil Salt, they will try for, say, a Quinton de Kock or a Faf du Plessis as well at the top with Sunil Narayan. So there are options in the auction which they will look at, and you have to say then that they have done a great job, isn't it, Kevin?
Yeah, I agree. I feel that, but I would like to disagree on the captaincy part. I feel that maybe if Shreyas Iyer wanted 18, you should have given 18. And the only reason I say that is because we've seen it with KKR, how due to poor captaincy they've missed out. In 2019, they had a sensational start, but then there were some captaincy decisions that that didn't go well, and somehow they were not in the playoff contention. And you had 2020 when the voices from the outside was that Morgan is the better captain and we need Morgan to captain. And midway he took over, but they couldn't make it through. They lost out on net run rate. And next year you saw the same squad with I don't think there was any big buy they had in 2021, due to which they went all the way to the finals. And it helped them that the conditions in Sharjah assisted them and they made it through. So I
That year
felt
was
that
Nitish Rana the captain.
no,
No, it
21
was
Morgan.
still Morgan.
Morgan. It
Okay.
was even Morgan, yeah. It was the IPL was in UAE for the second half, and
Yeah.
they came back
They kept
sensationally.
winning all the tosses.
Yeah. So yeah, so coming back to that point, and like we've seen in the past, we've seen with Delhi and LSG, and the reason they're going to value Shreyas Iyer is because they've been on the wrong side of captaincy. We saw it with KL Rahul, how it means he's not he's disappointed with his captaincy decisions, and you saw it with Pant as well. He's not been able to take the Delhi team ahead since Shreyas Iyer has moved out. So I feel when you have two teams who are going to value this captaincy, his captaincy, it made sense for Shreyas Iyer to ask for 18 and give him the option to KKR to whether they want to retain him or not. And I felt that maybe they could have retained just four guys and kept that five guys and left that one slot open. Because if you see the players that they have let go of, Phil Salt, you have a Mitchell Stark gone, you have Nitish Rana gone, you have Venkatesh Iyer gone, and you've lost all these players because you chose to retain a Ramandeep Singh. And I felt that maybe they could have kept that one slot open and try to get back a batter, because I feel that they're going to have a tough time getting a Indian batsman, because in this auction, because all the other teams are going to prey on them. And back in the day, they got these guys for around 8 crores. I feel that they go maybe a little bit more depending on who wants whom. So maybe that I felt that Ramandeep Singh at 4 crores seems a good buy. But when you see that you've got Ramandeep Singh and what have you lost in return, I feel that maybe they could have considered that option of maybe trying to use the RTM. So all in all, it seems a good squad. I felt that maybe there's that one time that KKR would have wanted to move on from Sunil Narayan and Andre Russell. Maybe it was this auction, but hanging on to them, let's see how many years they have. Because suddenly, if Russell is not fit, like last year he was really fit. This season, if he's not fit, then they're going to struggle a lot, because he formed a very good partnership with Stark and Harshad Rana bowling those death overs, and people might not know that he had one of the best bowling strike rates for them last season.
True.
So if he's not fit, because he's already 37, 36, 37, he's going to be. If he's not fit, then KKR will struggle. So let's see how they go from here. And yeah, it's fingers crossed. I hope they get a good captain. There is word around that they are looking at Nitish Rana, but I feel that he's going to get a good buy in this auction.
Yeah, from what I heard, they're also looking at Joss Butler as the opener, wicketkeeper, and captain. Yes, Nitish Rana is one of the names which have popped up. I also heard about Rinku Singh, but I don't think that's true. That was a fake news. We never know. Anything can happen. Moving on from the Kolkata Knight Riders to another big release from another team, the captain being released, Delhi Capitals. Akshar Patel being the first retention 16.5, Kuldeep Yadav 13.25, Tristan Stubbs 10, and Abhishek Porel 4 CR. If you leave out Rishabh Pant, I think these are four solid retentions. I don't know what you guys think, Nikhil, if you can jump in here because I mean, with Rishabh Pant, I think there were some issues with the price, with captaincy. They were not offering him captaincy. He said he wanted captaincy, so he just moved out. They still have two RTMs, mind you. They still have two RTMs, and obviously, as I said, Shreyas Iyer is on their target list. But what from what I'm hearing, they also might consider RTM, using the RTM for Rishabh Pant. Obviously, if it's under a certain price, which they might have put it on their auction plans. But what do you make of these retentions, Nikhil? Aksar Kuldeep, two spinners, left arm wrist, left arm slow, and Tristan Stubbs, one of the again most improved players in international cricket, and then Abhishek Porel. I was really impressed last year with his performances as
Mm.
well.
Yeah, I had him in the in our auctions, Abhishek Porel. So, uh, yeah, it's good. I mean, this is a team that's gone for their spinners mainly, and they had two good spinners, and they've kept them because not many other teams have good spinners, and they're a little bit weak on their batting, right? Tristan
Hmm.
Stubbs is there, and Abhishek Porel is there in like the middle order, but if they find someone better than Abhishek Porel, he might not even play. But yeah, it's Akshar Patel, Kuldeep Yadav, very good. Two of the first choice Indian spinners, right? I think you would say at this
Correct.
point
Correct.
for T20s. So like they've done really well over there, and they'll probably look to maybe play tactically as well with their pitches, and having these two good spinners, they can do something interesting with their pitches, and they have a lot of money as well. They let Rishabh Pant go. Obviously, there was probably some contract dispute or whatever. He probably thought he can get more money in the auction, and he might get more money in the auction, and they might not even look at him. But they could go back to him, keep him as their captain if they get him for a good price, and they'll be looking for some Indian batters as well, as all teams will be. And yeah, it's a good retention. I mean, who else have they missed out on?
They
They
didn't have many other great options. They had Mukesh, they had Khalil, they had
Mukesh Khalil,
FMCG,
yeah.
as we call FMCG, Jake Fraser
Yeah,
McGurk. Uh,
Fraser McGurk is interesting. I mean, if they could have got him, you see, because Tristan Stubbs agreed for 10
correct,
CR,
correct.
and if they could have had him at a similar price, I think they should have retained him as well. Because I think he'll go for a lot of money. I think
He will, he
the
will.
hype is still there. Yeah, the
Yeah.
hype and
Yeah, I
potential
feel
is still
FMCG
there.
is going to Punjab, considering that
Yes.
Ponting is
Yeah,
there.
Ponting is
So
there, yeah.
I feel that's almost a done decision. I mean, from
yeah,
even without much analysis, because that's a player that he can continue with for the next 7, 8 years also possibly if he does well. So,
yeah,
able replacement for Warner, and plus under Ponting's guidance, he can do wonders. So
True.
possibly. And plus, Ponting has a fresh canvas to paint whatever picture he wants with a fresh team. So over there, he might be a big cog in the wheel. So Fraser McGurk, I feel, is a big miss. But yeah, you
Yeah, I
can go
mean
on.
their key players that they've kept. I think that was important, right? Like getting Kuldeep Akshar to agree on deals and to like let them, still make them believe, right? They must have also thought like maybe we can get better in the auction as well,
Correct.
like or maybe we should go to a team with bigger ambitions, and that team that might actually win something next year, but they've managed to keep them, and that's good on them because I think Kuldeep for 13 crore is like a steal, right? I mean, imagine what he goes for in the auction. Think he goes for big money. Same with Akshar. So they've done well, and they'll have to build on that now. They have a good purse. and they'll get some good fast bowlers. They'll have to they were, as you said, if they get Shreyas Iyer, that'll be a good handy player at number three, and then they can get some aggressive openers, and then they've got Tristan Stubbs in the middle, they've got Abhishek Porel down, and then go for fast bowlers as well. Like if they can get Arshdeep, maybe if they can get back Mukesh and Khalil, either of them, that would be good options as well. So yeah, it's a good. From what they had, I think this is as good as they could have gotten. I think.
Kevin, your quick thoughts on this for retention?
Yeah, so I think once one decided to move on, I think whatever they've done, I'm really impressed with the retentions that they've gone for. I won't be surprised if anybody, if the bidding for Punch stops at 18 and you see Delhi raise the RTM just to play with the other franchises, because they still want Rishabh Pant, but they're okay to let him go. The only issue that they have with him is that they don't want to give him captaincy, and it's fair point, because you've seen what from the captaincy perspective, 2 seasons what he's done. So you can say that maybe he's not tactically that sound as a captain, but he's a work in progress. And for Rishabh Pant to ask for the captaincy also makes sense, because he's along those lines where he can expect at least a test vice captaincy at his stage in his career. So let's see. I feel that you know uh, it depends on the coaching staff. I don't know much about them. Who are the players that they're going to look at? But with the retentions, I feel they're very well placed, and I think they have two R teams. I'll be very keen to see who they
Yes, they
use
have
it
two
on.
RTMs. Yeah.
Yeah, with Jake Fraser Megak, I feel if he's going, above 8 crores, I don't think it's worth investing at this point in time, because we've seen besides the IPL in international cricket, he's still struggling, still finding his feet, and so for some reason these Aussie players, I don't know what's happened with them, but they've been on the decline, and South African players are really doing well in T20s. So. So maybe from an availability perspective, also investing in such a player, I'm not sure, but if he's coming under 8 crores, max 10 crores, it makes sense to invest in him. And second, I feel they need to go back to Khalil. You'll need one of those bowlers from Khalil Mukesh, because you know uh, you can't completely make a new team and have a new bowling lineup from scratch. So, and that Delhi ground is a graveyard for bowlers, it seems, at this point of time. So might as well go for
Yeah,
someone tried and tested.
true. Extremely small ground, 200 plus easy. Moving on
For
from
Pant,
yeah,
just
sorry.
thought on Pant that if he goes somewhere around 20 CR, then they have the option to do the funniest thing and do the RTM,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
if a team really wants it, say Punjab or whoever, CSK was also in the talks, but they don't have the budget, I feel. Whoever wants to go for them, even Lucknow, then because they only get one final chance after that to
True.
decide their
Yes.
final price. So if they are using RTM at 20, then raising it to just 21 might not make sense. So from 20, he might go to 23, 24. So they might just use it to make other teams spend 3-4 crore extra for Rishabh Pant. So that's a very good strategic option that they have. And Rishabh Pant will, I think, come in the top,
Marquee set.
yeah,
Yeah,
marquee set, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah.
So that is an
So
option that they have.
So what Delhi would want is hoping that Pant comes first and then Shreyas Iyer, because the moment that order is placed, the moment Punjab goes, because Punjab has the ability to get both. The way that they are placed, they have the ability to get both.
Punjab has the ability to get the whole auction, all players in the auction.
And I don't think so. No team is going to let Punjab.
The amount of money they have. Let's talk
Yeah.
about them. Punjab Kings, Nikhil Potnis, they are starting with a budget of 110.5 CR. That is Vivaswan Damle's net worth. I mean, that is a lot of money. 110.5 CR. That's the biggest purse in the history of IPL auctions that Punjab is
Yeah.
coming up with. Shashank Singh and Prabhsimran Singh, but the player they missed out on is Arshdeep Singh. Your thoughts on that? They were not ready to pay him 18 CR, which is probably fair, I would say, because they might get him cheaper, say around 14, 15,
No, no,
being an Indian fast
They
bowler.
might, but I think
I don't
Arshdeep
think
Singh
so.
is I think Arshdeep Singh is the best Indian
After
fast
Bumrah,
bowler
he is
in
the
the
best,
auction.
obviously. Yes, after
In
Bumrah,
the auction,
yeah,
I
in the
think
auction
in
is
the
the best. In
auction,
the auction is the best. Yeah,
Yeah, so I think they should have retained him, or maybe just giving him that confidence, right? Like that you're a key player, and like you're an important player for us, and we're going to still retain you. But yeah, I mean, there is a blank canvas for Ponting, right? He can just paint a nice picture, whatever he wants, however, whatever his brain thinks of, he can do. And yeah, there's so many options. They can go for anybody. They can get Shreyas Iyer, they can get Rishabh Pant as well, they can get Arshdeep Singh. I think they can go for the other fast bowlers, one of Avesh Khan, Prasidh Krishna. Yeah, they have so many options, and they still might finish last. So we just never
Yeah.
know.
See, as long as they don't call us as their analysts, they are going to finish not in the top four. Viv, your thoughts on the Arshdeep Singh issue? Because do you think he gets
Yeah.
18 CR in the auction, or they have done a smart move by releasing him and getting him at a cheaper, trying to get him at a cheaper price?
Yeah, I don't feel that he will go for 18. But one thing that Arshdeep does is, I mean, he is almost an Indian equivalent of Bolt because every time he has played in the first spell, he has taken 1 or 2 wickets. Even in yesterday's match, I think he had picked up a wicket quite early.
Markram, yeah, he picked the wicket of
Yeah,
Markram, yeah.
he picked up Markram after conceding 2 boundaries. But the swing that he generates in the initial overs, I feel that is quite invaluable. But not invaluable, I would say. It's because he is clearly not valuable enough for 18th year. But I feel he'll go somewhere around 12, 13 is something that he would get because there are lots of, as we saw earlier, there are lots of fast bowlers that are there on offer, and teams don't really need more than two for every match because they have all rounders as well who make up for 4 overs. They around 7, 8 overs will be coming from spin for most of the teams. So that way, I don't think there is a lack of supply of fast bowlers. So that is there. One player they might go for is Ashwin because he was there with them earlier, and they also need a captain for that. So if Rishabh Pant is going too expensive, of course they have the biggest purse. But if still Ponting wants some certain players and Rishabh going too costly might affect that, then Ashwin might be a great captaincy option because if he is retiring from Tests say in the next year or so, I mean I don't know, but if he is going to reduce his workload of the Indian team, then just those 2 months of IPL might be a good time for him to captain the side. Plus, these days he's more of an all-rounder as compared to just a bowler because even
True.
in TNPL he has been coming up the order and his strike rate has also improved over the last 3 seasons and now his strike rate is around 140, which is not bad. So I feel that is someone who they might look at as a captaincy option. And one fast bowler that we have not discussed is Dilshan Madhushanka. So
Mhm.
that is also, I mean, I don't know if he has registered or not this year. Last year he had an injury, but that is one player that they can actually go for if they want a Arshdeep like bowler who can give a couple of wickets in the early overs. And plus his slower one at the death was quite good in the World Cup that we saw. The November 23 World Cup that was there. So
Yeah. Yeah.
these were a couple of Arshdeep related thoughts and captaincy related thoughts for them.
Yeah.
Of course, the retentions make sense since none of their players really look like getting
18
18.
CR. Yeah.
Shashank makes sense. For the second slot, it was a toss up between Prabh Simran and Ashutosh Sharma, I guess, when they decided to go with the opener.
Kevin, your thoughts on the RTM because they have four RTMs. No uncapped players can be RTM. So, as we've mentioned,
Yeah,
Ashutosh or Harpreet Brar cannot be
they
RTM.
have to be bought back.
They have to be bought back, correct? But they have a plethora of options there. They have Arshdeep Singh, obviously, as we spoke, Liam Livingston, Kagiso Rabada, Nathan Ellis, Sam Curran, and probably a couple more which I'm missing out on. So, what are your thoughts, Jitesh Sharma? Who are the RTM options you are looking at for the four cards which they have?
Yeah, I don't know what their thought process is because I felt that they should have retained three players: Arshdeep, Liam Livingstone, and maybe Kagiso Rabada for that matter. Because now what's going to happen is even though I don't feel Arshdeep is worth 18 crores, I feel he'll get around 18 crores. The reason is because the other teams are not going to let Punjab RTM him for cheap.
True.
So So because if you let Punjab, have Arshdeep Singh for 12 to 13 crores, so you're going to let Punjab kind of like bully you and win all the other auctions. So the best way is to, everyone knows that Punjab is going to retain Arshdeep. The teams that I feel, I think Delhi is going to play very smart. They're going to fight with Punjab and try to reduce their price. And if they get Arshdeep for 18 crores as well, I think that Delhi won't be upset because it's an upgrade from Khalid. And the way their lineup is
Yeah,
at the
I
moment,
think that is something which Ponting might have thought of, that if we don't get
yes,
Arshdeep, we'll go to Khalil, because Khalil was
yes,
a part of DC with Ponting. So
correct,
that's maybe where he's thinking that, say, if they increase the price of Arshdeep to a certain extent where he can't bid, I mean, where he says, let's go
yes.
to Khalil, that could be an option, right?
Yeah, for the best thing that can happen for Punjab is have Arshdeep not enter into the marquee list. I don't think he'll
Marquee
enter
list, yeah.
in, but if he enters in the marquee list, then Punjab will be sweating. But if he doesn't, then I think Punjab has a very good chance of dominating this auction because you have they're definitely going to use the RTM on Liam Livingstone. I feel unless Pointing has plans of getting Maxwell back in, which I don't see. Maybe he has played for Ponting in 2018 with Delhi. He's played for Punjab in 14 and from 14 to 17 and even in 2020. So they could
Correct.
consider him as an option. There's Marcus Stoinis who did well for Ponting with DC. I think we could have an entire segment of the players whom they can go for or who have played for them in the past, rather than
Avesh Khan, Rabada
yeah.
and Norke, maybe that combination back at Punjab Kings.
Exactly, and it is going to work. It didn't work in Delhi because the ground at Delhi is small. But with Punjab and now I think they moved to Mulanpur. I
Mullanpur,
think
yeah.
even if they let go of some of the big guys, I think whoever's going to come is going to do well. They just need a very good captain, they need a well settled coach in who can pull the strings well. So I feel if they could get Harpreet Brar in, I think it solves some of their problems. But if they don't get him, I think they can look at it. Depends on how much they're willing to go in because nobody's going to let them get these players so cheap.
Yeah.
Maybe a Mumbai is going to back out from bidding for Livingston around 11 crores. But the moment they know that Punjab is going to use the RTM, they're definitely going to bid 14 to 16 crores for him because as the quicker we've seen with our mock auctions as well, with one of our guys, the more amount of money he holds back and waits for the players, the more we try to bid and kind of like bring him down to our level. And at the moment, I think Punjab is leading by I think around 27 crores. As as comes. And that's a, and because Klassen has set the benchmark at 23, I feel teams are going to ensure that Punjab pays around 21 to 25 crores for Rishabh Pant. And if DC gets him back also, or even Punjab gets him, or even RCB gets him, they don't feel bad because these guys, Pant is a guy who's going to kind of like be the face of the franchise, and he has a good enough 5 to 6 years where they can kind of like market their franchise. So it's tough. It depends on it's the possibilities and the good thing for Punjab is they have Ricky Ponting who's a really good strategist. But I hope it doesn't go and make it a mini Australian side because then that will
Just a
be
just a question for all of you here.
yeah.
If you had to give just one single figure as a price or a value that you find for Rishabh Pant, not what will go in the auction, what you personally feel is an appropriate price for Rishabh Pant, what would you say? Say Kevin first. Just
I
one
think
value.
I think with whatever he brings to the table, keeper, batsman, Indian top order, experienced guy, and marketable face, I think he's good enough for 21 crores.
Same. I was
21.
going to say the same amount. 21. Yeah. 2021.
Yeah.
Yeah. My
Yeah.
amount.
Yeah, I
Nikhil?
think it's
Nikhil?
the same as well. Yeah, 2021. Yeah. I
So
mean,
I
his
guess,
record is actually, it's interesting. His record is not like the best. His strike rate's
yeah,
actually gone down.
Yeah.
So
True.
his position is a little bit of an interesting. Like, where do you bat him? Do you, because he's been batting at number four for India. But
Correct.
yeah,
do you want to push him back as a like as a lower order, middle order batter? You want him to push him up? I mean, in his under 19 days, Shubham, you remember he used to open.
He used to open.
Is
Yeah.
that an option? So there's a lot of things you can, interesting things you can do with punt,
yeah,
and then
yeah,
that
because,
money makes sense.
yeah, because uh, I know he is like hyped as a destroyer and all, but He has
Yep.
shown his skills recently more in the test format as compared to the
Yeah,
T20 format. So,
yeah. As a
and we speak
T20
of
player,
25 and all, but
he has gone down.
somehow that feels a bit too steep for Rishabh. Given all his skills, but still 25 seems a bit too steep.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, from the Punjab Kings, let's move on to the team which has the second highest purse, which is the Royal Challengers Bangalore, 83 CR, just three retentions. Virat Kohli, face of the franchise, 21 CR. Patidar at 11 CR, looks like a really solid retention, and yes, they are at 5 CR. Notable omission is Mohammad Siraj, Glenn Maxwell, and Will Jacks. Are these the three RTMs, Kevin? Or Glenn Maxwell might not be an RTM option, but Siraj and Jack should definitely be on their list in the RTM
Yeah, I
cards.
think Siraj for sure because he has bowled a lot of his cricket on in Bangalore, and he knows. I'm pretty sure if he goes to another franchise, his numbers are going to be really good. Just because it's Bangalore, that's the reason he's struggling. Will Jacks, I'm not sure what they're planning on because you want someone who's going to bat with Virat Kohli and take pressure off him. I want someone.
The whole big rumor, Kohli and KL Rahul to open 6 overs, 42 for no loss. How does that feel for you?
I'm not sure because I feel that whoever they get in, be it Jacks, even Shreyas Iyer, Rishabh Pant, or even Kerala, whoever's going to bat in Bangalore is going to do well. His numbers are going to be really good. You see it with Faf, the way he's come at 38, and the performances that he's given in Bangalore just shows that that ground is designed for good batting. So, and we've seen guys who are striking at 120, 130, and for other teams come to play when they have their matches in Bangalore, they're striking at 150, 170, 180. So even Nitish Rana has done well over there, pretty well in against Bangalore in Bangalore. So whoever they go for, I don't know. It depends on what they're planning in. But I feel that the approach will be to get more batting and manage with some average bowlers. Try to do what SRH did in 2024. But the difference is the captaincy. SRH had a good captain. With RCB, I'm not sure what their plan is, but the retentions that they've done, I'm pretty. I think this is the best they could have done. Um, have Rajat Patidar at 11 and have Virat Kohli at 21 and Yash Dayal at 5 crores is a real good buy because I don't remember. I think Srinath Aravind was the last left arm seamer they had and who did well for them. So having a
Aniket
guy who can
Chaudhary,
swing,
was Aniket Chaudhary playing for them? That
yeah,
guy?
he played, but I
Tall
don't
guy?
think he did
Yeah,
well. 2017, they paid 2 crores for him, but I don't think
yeah.
he did that well for RCB. So, and you had RP Singh as well, who played a little bit for them. So, uh, compared to the stocks that they had, I think the retentions that they've done real good. How they're going to go ahead and get their players, it will be interesting. Was it Will Jacks or Glenn Maxwell who got Ruturaj Gaikwad?
It was
Yeah.
Glenn Maxwell who got him on the first ball tuck.
Yeah. So Glenn Maxwell, if he's
Will
coming for
Jacks
four
got
crores,
Travis Head, if I'm not wrong, in that
yeah, he
SRH
got
game.
he got Travis. So yeah, I think even if they miss out on Will Jacks, I don't think they'll be that disappointed. But I think the goal is going to get the goal is to be to get the
KL Rahul.
Bangalore guys back. So if they don't get KL Rahul, I'll see that they'll go for I think they'll go for Mayank Agrawal. They'll even go for I think for Maipal Lumra. I think he's a good player, and even Anuj Rawat because they need a
Hmm.
keeper as well. So these are the guys I feel that they'll look forward to. But I think they'll. It's I don't think they'll the besides KL Rahul and Rishabh Pant, I don't think they'll go hard on any player. They just try to get whoever they can get and build a
Yeah, they
squad
definitely go
around him.
hard on Alzari Joseph for 10.5 CR, and then he's dropped
You know,
after 7 games.
I wonder if RCB just finally decide, just to shut up everyone who keeps saying about their bowling, just go out and get all the good bowlers.
And I
Just
don't
one
think.
year, let's just try that. They should just think about it. Let's just try. Everyone can just then keep their mouth
Okay,
shut
can you
and
list
sort of
four
do
five
well.
bowlers? Four
Yeah,
five
I feel
bowlers.
Mitchell Stark.
UG is coming back. UG is coming back.
Usually they can get back.
True.
Arshdeep Singh they can get
Okay.
if they want.
For 18
Um, 18, whatever it is in the auction. I think if
because Punjab if
RCB
he's
might be.
anything below 18 anything below 18 Punjab is going to retain him
RTMM
because
for sure.
yeah
Yeah.
Yeah, try to out muscle Punjab. I think. I mean, it's hard, but
No. Anyway, see,
they can
they
try.
will RTM Siraj. Let's go Chehel Siraj. Yeah. Who are
Chahal
the other
Siraj,
bowlers you're looking at?
Arshdeep. They can if they can get him.
Okay.
Um, try
that's
one
40
overseas
crores.
fast bowler.
Yeah.
One overseas fast bowler. Who
Rabada.
you want?
Norke
Rabada,
can also
Bolt.
be another
Yeah,
option.
Enric Norke, Rabada, Stark, Archer is in the
Madhushankar,
auction. Madhushanka, left arm pacer, Trent
Burger.
Bolt,
Yeah.
Trent
Burger.
Bolt.
Trent Bolt. Trent Bolt is the most like dependable, I think, out of all of these. They can go for
But
him.
I think Mumbai will not let go of Trent Bolt this
True.
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, there'll be many teams after Trent Bolt. It depends. Is he
I will
in
give
the
you another
top
name.
bracket?
Left arm pacer, Nandre Burger.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
Andre
we've said,
Berger.
mentioned.
yeah, I said
Yeah.
that.
So
Yeah.
there are good options if they decide to prioritize bowling and say like
Or Topley
let
also.
KL Rahul go.
Reese
Yeah,
Topley, yeah.
Reece Topley is there.
Because,
Let KL Rahul go. Let Rishabh Pant go. Let Shreyas Iyer go. Let all these franchises pay all the big money on them, and let's go after the bowlers. And finally, it is. I mean, it might not make sense, but I'm kind of saying this in
RCB
a like
management,
half
if you're
joke way.
watching this, I am
Yeah,
putting
I
Nikhil
had
Potney's number in the comment section. You can call him anytime. He will be up there
that's
with you to talk about bowling and which bowlers you can target. But with the
yeah.
just the thought of KL Rahul and Virat Kohli opening 6 overs 42 for null, I don't know. It just
Yeah,
seems funny
instead
and
of
too slow.
nightmares
yeah,
for
so,
the bowlers,
so
I think that's nightmares for the fans. I think.
yeah, so two players that I
So
see opening with Virat, if we have to pick a
Mhm.
dashing opener, then I see Ishan Kishan or FMCG who can be two
True.
options that RCB
Yeah,
can
but
go for.
these are two really good options. Young
Because,
Kishan also fulfills the wicket keeper duties.
yeah, because
Left hander as well. I think that matches. That's a good partnership there.
because whenever Ishan Kishan decides to actually go for it, he can go for a 30 ball 70 and so
True.
on. So
True.
when he destroys, he just goes berserk. And he like with someone like a fiery Kohli at the other end, Ishan might just be boosted even more. And just to add a fun thing about it, the last time Donald Trump was president, Virat Kohli had an insane year in cricket. So 2016 was the epic year. So
Yeah,
that
that's why
was the
Nikhil voted for Trump. I know that. That's why Nikhil voted for Trump. That's a great stat there. We are putting this out. Definitely, we are putting this out. But yeah, a lot of questions for RCB. They have a big purse, so let's see how they go. Let's move on to Gujarat Titans quickly, and then the last team, which is Chennai Super Kings. But Gujarat Titans right now, Rashid Khan 18 CR, Gill 16.5 CR, Sai Sudarshan 8.5 CR. The two uncapped guys, I think these are steals, especially Rahul Tewatia, who was bought at 9.2 CR in the last auction, has taken a pay cut of more than 50%. 4 CR, and then Shah Rukh Khan 4 CR. Viv, you have to see these uncapped. I mean, number 5, number 6 players, these two guys, these are steals for them, is what I believe.
yeah, Rahul Tewatia, of course. I mean, he's one of the best finishers. I mean, even we had
True.
seen for RR as well
Yeah,
that you need say 30 from 10 balls. Rahul Tewatia can come in and do that job. So he's an he's an asset along with Rinku Singh who are like really valuable. And Rinku Singh on the other hand went for 13.
correct.
Tewatia you got for 4. Plus, in case a bowler is injured or you're a bowler short in some match,
Yeah, he
he
can bowl.
can chip in with a couple of overs as well. So that I feel is one of the best value buys of this auction. But Shahrukh, I am a bit surprised. I mean, they had the option of Abhinav Manohar as well,
True, true.
so they could have gone for him. I don't remember. I'm not able to recollect the rest of their squad immediately. But in the uncapped category, I feel
Yeah, they had R Sai Kishore, but I think Abhinav Manohar at 4 CR at the same
yeah,
spot where Shahrukh bats would make a lot of sense as
yeah,
well.
because Shahrukh has been moving from team to team, and he has been in IPL for what 7 8 years now. But I
Yeah,
don't think he has
bro,
given
yeah,
any
5 6
memorable
years. Yeah,
performances as such. I mean,
Yeah, I think
big six hitter is
it's his potential, right? His domestic numbers are very good apparently, and he does very well in domestic. And all the teams look at him and they're like, okay, he's a good lower order finisher, like what we've said.
yeah.
Like
And I mean, now
last
even Riyan Parag has done well, but still Shah Rukh Khan hasn't really shown anything.
Yeah, it's time for Shah Rukh Khan to deliver a hit. So we'll see when that happens. I'm also surprised. 4 crore. I mean, but what you can see here is again, a lot of franchises have there's not a lot of options for lower middle
Bowlers.
order six hit. No, not bowlers, six hitters. I think
Okay, yeah.
like finishers. I think there's
Correct, correct.
very
And that's
few.
why they have kept these guys, you're saying.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. And I think the ones that they have, they're like, okay, like we at least know what we have with this guy. Like there's potential, and we don't want to lose him in the auction if because there's so many less guys that he might actually go for more than 4 crore, and we can keep him for less than that. That's why I think Abdul Samad for SRH makes a lot of sense on RTM. But Sai Sudarshan for 8.5 is also a very, very good buy. I rate that guy so highly. I think he's a really, really good player, and he can make it into the Indian team as well. And
But I
He's
feel if
one
you
of
have
those.
Gill,
Yeah, sorry,
picked
Vivek.
a player, then you have to back him for 14 matches because if say Shah Rukh Khan doesn't perform for the first 3-4 matches and if he gets dropped, then it
hmm.
doesn't really make as much sense to go for him. I mean, you would rather go for a Tim David or say a Romario Shepherd or someone like that to
That's
be
true,
a
but
finisher.
because I think it's 4 crore, I think they can afford to be like, okay, if it's not working, we can get someone
Yeah,
else, and if like they'll probably have someone they'll have another option in there, overseas
yeah,
option,
yeah.
like you said, Tim David, and they can get him in. Um, but yeah, I mean, they also have work to do, and they have a good budget, and they
Yeah,
can
they have a
do.
good
They can
budget.
again.
From what I heard, Shubman Gill wants Ishan Kishan to open the batting with him. Best friends opening the batting
Hmm.
wicket keeper because they obviously won't have Rhythm and Sa, who has announced retirement after this Ranji season. So
Oh,
they
okay.
need a wicket keeper. Ishan Kishan is an opener as well, left-hander, and they know each other pretty well. So I think that
Wouldn't
combination
Sai
might work.
Sudarshan open though? Wouldn't
I
like? I
think
think
they
that
might
makes more
bat him
sense.
at three. I mean, ideally he should open with Gill. I agree with that. Gill and Sudarshan should open. But from what I'm hearing, Gill has
Maybe it's a
asked
bit
for Ishan Kishan.
samey. Like Gill and Sai Sudarshan, they're both a bit samey. Like
Similar, yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah,
right
yeah.
now
I
they have
mean,
covered
fine.
three retentions. So 18, 14, and 11 is what they lost from their purse. So
Correct.
the next two retentions would have been at 18 and
18 and
14.
14, yeah.
So the next two players that they buy, they have effectively a budget of 32 CR.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Ishan
Hmm.
Kishan will definitely go for cheaper than 16 CR. Like if we
Easily,
do
yeah.
32 divided by 2.
Yeah.
So then he can come and play. Plus, they have been playing. I think they have played together since in a age group cricket as well,
Yes, yes. And
and
for
they
India,
scored their double centuries in like very quick succession to
correct.
each other as well. So
Yeah. Yeah, and the wicketkeeper slot as well because teams
yeah,
need wicketkeepers. So I think that makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense. Let's move on to the last team for the day, Chennai Super Kings. Gaikwad 18 CR, okay, fine, captain. You can give him whatever he wants. Jadeja 18 CR is a bit of a surprise considering that he is retired from T20 internationals. Patirana 13 CR, great retention. Dubey 12 CR, good retention. Dhoni 4 CR, who has taken the biggest pay cut in the history of IPL from 12 to 4. Purse remaining 55 CR. Viv, you mentioned briefly the talks where, I mean, there are talks that they might target Rishabh Pant. Do you see that happening with the amount they have now,
no.
or it's just like they might do some token bidding and then leave out?
Yeah. So Rishabh Pant, I don't think really makes sense for them.
Yeah, because
Rather,
they also have Dubey, right, who is going to bat
yeah,
in the middle order.
yeah. And if they're looking for a keeper, then KL Rahul is someone who is getting closer to his late 30s, I guess, possibly. So that
Yeah,
fits
31,
his
32.
bill.
So in a couple of years, he
Yeah.
will be that
So
34,
he'll
35.
qualify for the Chennai criteria. So I feel KL Rahul might be an option that they look for. But I don't see Rishabh Pant going to Chennai. I mean, it sounds great for the Chennai fans, but I don't see that happening. Along with that, Ashwin again
Ashwin,
returning to
yeah.
Chennai would possibly one thing. And they have one special latest registration of Jimmy Anderson.
Yes,
So
that
considering
is
his
for them,
age,
right? Yeah, that is for
yeah.
them.
And speaking about Dhoni taking the pay cut, I feel like they other teams went into the auction with 120 CR, like went into the retentions with 120 CR. Chennai effectively went in with 127 CR because they saved the 7 CR
7
for
CR.
Dhoni.
True.
I mean, even in Harsha Bhogle's video, he effectively called it a Dhoni rule. So
Yeah.
if he can say it, then we, I guess, definitely he can speak that
Yeah,
that
we
rule is
don't need to be
specifically.
politically correct on our stream anyways because nobody's watching it. Nikhil, but what do you make of these retentions? 5 retentions, that is fine. They have one RTM. The big question is Devon Conway or Rachin Ravindra? Or do you have a
Oh,
surprise in and say Deepak Chair?
it's interesting. So they've got two 18s. They've got 14 and 11. So there's another 14 crore slot. They can they can get, look for Arshdeep Singh as well. They can look
Okay.
for Chahal as well. But back to the RTMs. It's interesting. I mean, I think I would prefer Deepak Char. I think.
Over the two
Um,
overseas players?
I think so, yeah, because I think you might get better options than
But
Devon Conway and Rachin in the auction.
Deepak Chair is only paid to sit on the bench, right? Because he's injured 80% of the games.
Yeah, that's true. If he's injured, then there's no there, then that's a problem, and if he's always injured, that's a problem. But I feel like there's better options. I think if you look at overseas top order batters, I think there is better options than Conway and Ravindra. I mean, maybe some of those options might go out of budget for them, like Butler. There's Will Jacks, as we said, Phil Salt.
Salt.
There are
Quinton de
some.
Kock.
There are
Quinton
some.
de Kock.
Wyndham Peacock, Faf can come back if he wants to, and if they want him. So there are few options, I think, and yeah, I'm not entirely sure what they'll do. It's
I feel RTM can also be used for Daryl Mitchell because he's one of the
Can
best
be.
players of spin,
Can be.
and like they play
yeah.
7 matches at Chepauk. So
Correct.
considering that, Daryl
I don't know
Mitchell
if they're
or a
yeah.
Thikshana also can be.
Tikshna, yeah.
I don't know if they're like satisfied with the performances they got from Daryl Mitchell, Rachin Ravindra, and Devon Conway. I don't know if they'll
Santner is also
go
one.
back.
Santner.
Sandner is also
Yeah,
one. Yeah,
Sanders they will
Sandner
buy
can
back
be
for 50
helpful.
lakhs because nobody else bids. I don't know why.
Yeah, no one goes for
For
Sandner.
Mumbai,
All these
Santner
overseas
makes
spinners,
sense.
no one goes.
Yeah, overseas
Yeah,
spinners very rarely get bids. I mean, Keshav Maharaj, Adams,
yeah.
Ampa, who else? Adil Rashid. Adil Rashid though goes unsold for almost the last
The
20 years.
second test match that happened right now was at Bangalore, I think.
That
What
was at
which city
Pune. The
was it?
first test match was in Bangalore, second Pune, third Mumbai.
Mhm.
Second was in Pune. Yeah. Because
I
if
mean,
that
Keshav
pitch is
Maharaj used
allowed, then I feel that team directly bids for Santner.
to.
Hmm.
Yeah. You talked about Keshav Maharaj. I mean, he's such a good
He's a good
T20
bowler,
player as
yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a bowler that you can build your team around as well. I think he's like a very
Interesting.
very underrated bowler. He'll keep it tight. You know what you're getting, and then you can kind of build around Keshav Maharaj. Around those bowlers. But anyway, yeah, it's interesting. I'm not entirely sure what they're going to do. I think they'll like to keep their options open, and as the sets come in, they'll probably make up their mind, and they've got options, so that's good. So they can go
Yeah.
for many guys. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it for the 10 teams. But the big two questions before we end the stream: IPL auction 24th and 25th November in Jeddah. Nikhil will be there as our spokesperson. He will be talking to 10 teams, all team owners, especially Akash Ambani and company, asking the target price for Arjun Tendulkar. Coming back to the IPL auction, last question before we guys leave. Most expensive Indian player and most expensive overseas player. Who do you think will go in the auction? We'll obviously do a lot of build up to the auction as well, probably around 23rd or 24th November. Nikhil will be awake whole night in US, is what he's saying. Nikhil, let's start with you. Most expensive Indian player. I think Indian player, everybody pretty much would agree on the same name, isn't it, Nikhil? And that is Arjun Tendulkar.
Yeah, Arjun Tend. No, so there's two options that I'm thinking
Okay.
about. For some reason, I think Arshdeep Singh is going to get a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
I have like a hunch that a lot of teams will back him. I think out of all the available Indian fast bowlers, he's the best
He's the
option.
best. Yeah.
Yeah, and you need those Indian fast bowlers in your squad. Like that's how you build your, I think, 11,
Correct.
right? So he's one. that I feel is it might go up there. And the second is obviously Pant. I think Rishabh
Mhm.
Pant.
Mhm.
I think he out of Pant, Shreyas Iyer, KL Rahul, I think Pant gets the most money out
True.
of all three. And you know what? Just to be a little different, I'm going to say Arshdeep Singh. I think he
Arshdeep
goes
Singh.
for big money. Obviously, it depends on when they come in the auction. Arshdeep will come in the first set, right? I'm guessing.
Hopefully, but I'm not sure.
Or
What they
is
did last year, last mega auction, was marquee set was of players who have played in all three formats. So if they follow the same rule, then I don't think Arshdeep will make the marquee set. He will make fast bowlers one, FA1. But
yeah,
yeah, among marquee players, it's obviously Rishabh Pant, Shreyas Iyer, KL Rahul will be in the marquee set. Joss Butler will be in the marquee set. You can guarantee that.
yeah,
The names which are coming below, Trent Bolt might be in the marquee set. Siraj will be in the marquee set. Lot of players. Mohammad Shami will be in the marquee set. Who else? Who else? Viv, most expensive Indian player,
Yeah, I feel that has to be Rishabh Pant.
Rishabh Pant, right?
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's easy. For I think, and of course there are other contenders like even Ishan Kishan. I feel
Ishan
will
Kishan.
go for a decent price because couple of teams will. Mumbai, of course, will want to retain him. Then GT, as you said, wants him. Punjab might want him.
Yeah.
Chennai, RCB might want him.
RCB
So
might want him opening the
So
batting
I
score.
feel that way because he's a effective alternative to Rishabh Pant. So I mean he won't give the captaincy option, but purely based on player skill, he's an option. So either Ishan Kishan or of course he won't go for 20. So I feel Rishabh Pant followed by Ishan Kishan would be the domestic options. And considering
Overseas.
the foreigners, I feel FMCG or Stoinis. So those two will be going for the big bucks.
Interesting, interesting. I am going in with Joss Butler. Maybe. Not quite sure. Or Liam Livingston. Either of Joss Butler or Liam Livingston could be the highest expensive player, most expensive player, and most Indian. I think it's pretty obvious that everybody agrees with Rishabh Pant. That's it for today. Another long stream. When it's IPL time, you have to go long because IPL is such a huge tournament. The auction is 2 days. We will obviously have a stream of 1 hour 46 minutes. Thank you very much for joining us. Keep watching Cricket Adda, and we will be back with the build up to the Border Gavaskar Trophy as well, and hopefully the build up to the IPL auction 2025. Thank you very much. And stream the